I've been working in corporate America since 2005, and over the past 20 years, I've held various positions across multiple organizations. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you 10 tips on how to succeed within corporate America. Now, the very first tip is mastering communication. Now, this was something that was a little bit difficult for me because when I came in to corporate America, I really didn't have a mentor at this time. So I was just trying to figure things out as I went along. And one of the things that I've quickly learned is that those that could communicate were the ones that were well positioned to actually succeed. And when I talk about communicating, I'm talking about being able to communicate via email, presenting to leadership in meetings, and just your overall communication skills when just speaking with colleagues on a day-to-day basis. When you start to learn how to communicate effectively, you'll start to learn things such as, how does this particular person like to receive their communication? I had a boss that just wanted to know the very high levels of projects that I was working on. And he didn't need all of the details about what was going on in the day-to-day. It was just give me the very high levels and that's all I needed to know. And then of course, I've had bosses to where they wanted to know every single detail of the project. And if you left something out, then they thought that there was something wrong. When you start to learn how to effectively communicate via email or in a meeting setting, or just in how leadership and other colleagues like to receive information, then you are one step closer to succeeding in corporate America. The second tip to succeeding in corporate America is building strong relationships. Now, this is completely important because it is not uncommon within that setting to work with various people across different departments as well as different levels within the organization. And being able to build strong relationships with people that are on your team, but also maybe in other departments, is critical to your success. It helps you to get projects done more quickly. And then those people that you have those good relationships with will want to do things to help you succeed. It also helps to build up your credibility and the trust factor across the organization as well. I can't tell you how many times over the past 20 years where I've been working on a project or I've experienced some type of issue, and the fact that I had really good relationships across the organization helped me to actually achieve my goal much faster than if I had to go at it alone. These people will also vouch for you whenever you're not in meetings with them. Your reputation within corporate America holds a ton of weight, right? It could be the difference between you getting that promotion, you getting that raise, or you just staying in the same position year over year. And I'm gonna just give you one more example because this is extremely important. If you've been in corporate America, then you know that there's always that one person that may have been at the job for 10 plus years, but they never seem to be able to elevate beyond the role that they're currently in. And if you dig a little bit deeper into why that is, you'll start to understand that maybe that they haven't built strong relationships. Maybe their reputation isn't the strongest that it could be. And I'm not telling that you have to go out there and be somebody you're not, but having genuine relationships with people on a professional level goes a very long way within corporate America. The third tip to succeed in corporate America is by delivering results, not excuses. One of the fastest ways to sink your reputation within corporate America is by consistently delivering excuses instead of results. You are hired to get work done. So your number one priority needs to be consistently delivering at an extremely high level. Now, there are going to be times where you may have some delays in your work or your project because that's just what happens. There's never a plan that goes 100% right all the time. It just doesn't happen. But if and when you have that hiccup in a project or a delay in your work, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt if you're known as someone that consistently delivers. Now, if you're looking to just work a job, you have no aspirations of being promoted and you're fine where you're at, there's no issue with that. But I'm talking to the people that are looking for results and they're looking for more and they're looking to continue to climb and become a better version of themselves. So every day that you go into the office or you log on, your number one goal is to consistently deliver. The fourth tip of succeeding in corporate America is being politically aware, not being political. Now, let me explain that a little bit more. So in corporate America, there are a lot of dynamics that are at play that may not be seen on the surface. It is not uncommon for this vice president to not like this vice president, this director to not like this director, and so on and so forth. But you need to make sure that you're fully aware of all of those dynamics and be able to read the room. Understand where the alliances are, understand where the weaknesses are, and stay out of it. Because once you pick a side or once you go down a particular path, it could derail and impact your entire career. So over the course of my 20 years being in corporate America, I have seen this a lot, where there's one vice president that's a power player at that point in time. A bunch of people go with him or her and they pick sides. And instead of staying neutral and staying in the middle, this person eventually falls out of favor. This person is now in favor. And then all of those people that were with that vice president are either alienated, let go, or their careers are severely limited. You want to make sure you want to stay out of that. Be aware of what's going on, but stay out of the shenanigans. Don't get involved. Trust me. Tip number 5 is being visible. Now, we've already talked about you consistently showing up and providing high level, high quality work every time you're in the office. But being visible, that matters too. So whenever you're in meetings, don't be afraid to speak up, right? Especially if there are higher level people in the room and you have an update that you want to share. Don't just sit there. Speak up, share your thoughts. Another big thing that I often encourage people to do is if there's an opportunity for special projects, volunteer for those. Even if it's not in your lane, a lot of people will be like, well, that's not my responsibility. Make it your responsibility. Take on those projects. Be willing to do the work that a lot of people don't want to do. Be willing to stay that extra hour or two at the office when everybody wants to leave. That's how you're going to get noticed. You're going to get noticed that way. Hard work within corporate America is often rewarded, but you have to go out there and you have to get it. Sometimes you have to go out there and make your own way. There may be other departments that notice the hard work that you're doing, and they may say, hey, you know what? I know that he or she is not part of my team or my department, but I like their work ethic. I have a open position that's coming up in 6 months, and I really think that they could add value to my team. Those are the type of opportunities that come up when you're willing to volunteer for special projects or volunteer for work that may not be your responsibility. So don't have that, well, it's not my responsibility attitude. Don't do that in corporate America. Just don't do that. All right, we're halfway through. And if you stuck with me this far and you're getting some value, consider subscribing. And while you're at it, hit that like button for the algorithm. I would really appreciate it. Tip number 6 is own your career. Now, this is something that I often tell people that I mentor within corporate America, that you are responsible for the direction and the growth of your own career. You can't sit back and leave that decision to someone else. Not human resources, not your boss, you. You have to be the person that speaks up for yourself, that advocates for yourself. Because the job of HR or the job of your boss is to get work done. And if you're a key component of a team and you're constantly delivering, they want to keep you on that team. Not that they want to hold you down, but it's so hard to find someone that is coming in every single day that's consistently delivering high results. Why are they going to want you to go somewhere else? That's the sad truth. That's the sad reality of it, right? But on the flip side, as you're continuing to deliver that high level work day in and day out, and you're starting to get noticed across the organization, that's where you have the opportunity to speak up for yourself, right? Don't be afraid to send an email to a vice president in a different department. Don't be afraid to reach out to the vice president or the director of your department and let them know, I like what I do. I can do more. I'm looking to advance. Can you give me some feedback on what I need to do? What do I need to be aware of? What do I need to learn in order to get to the next level? See, sometimes we have to humble ourselves and stop thinking that people are going to come to us and give us something. If you want something, work for it and go take it. Take those opportunities that come up to own your career. I already talked about being the person, being the go-to person to take on special projects that nobody else wants. Take those and deliver. Consistently deliver. It's all about consistency. Tip number 7 to succeed in corporate America is don't share so much of your personal information with your colleagues. Trust me when I say this. Yes, it's good to build strong relationships. Yes, it's good to continue to work hard and try to become a better version of yourself every time you go into the office, but you have to make sure there's a good balance between that and you not sharing too much of what's going on. Never let people that you work with know so much of your personal information, because believe it or not, there are some people that can and will use that against you at any point in time. Tip number 8 is constantly learning. So typically within an organization, there are opportunities for you to learn new things, right? New programs such as Excel or Microsoft Power BI or some other type of technology that's being rolled out. And it could be AI, for example. But being willing to consistently get into those courses and learn the technology, learn the lingo, keep up to date on what's going on in your industry. All of those things matter. And when you're having conversations with people and they're talking about the latest technology that's coming out and you're in an actual course that's offered by your organization on how to actually use that technology, you start to be able to have different conversations with people, right? And again, it builds up that credibility, it builds up that trust factor, and it also builds up your personal performance toolbox. You put another tool in your tool belt that you can use throughout your career, right? You have to be thinking about it that way. Learning how to actually use some of the newest technologies, learning about the industry, those are all things that will help you in your current role, maybe a future role with the organization, or for a role outside of the organization. A lot of us will go to college and some of us will go to grad school, and then after that we think that the learning is done. It's not. Constantly being willing to learn new skills or to sharpen current skills are going to pay off for you in the long run. It really will. Tip number 9 to be successful in corporate America is learning how to manage up effectively. So this was something that was pretty hard for me, especially early on in the process, but I've learned throughout the 20 years that I've been in corporate America that even though we have bosses that manage us, we have to also manage them. Right? So that could be the amount or the type of information that we're feeding to them. It could be anticipating the needs of the organization and getting out in front of that before it even comes to you. Again, because in the 8th tip, we talked about maybe going out and keeping up to date on the industry that you're working in. Maybe you did that and now you're able to go out there and proactively do some work or learn some things that you can then take back and bring to the management team before they even ask for it. Managing up can save you so much time, effort, and energy. And once you learn how to manage up effectively, you'll start to notice that your management team, they're not checking on you as much as they used to, because all of the information that they would generally ask you for, you're proactively giving that to them. And once again, you're seen as someone that gets things done. Your reputation at this point is someone that is consistently getting stuff done. And they don't need to worry about these types of employees. These are the type of employees that management does not want to leave the organization. You are making yourself valuable to that organization. But on top of that, and even more importantly, is you're adding value to yourself. You're adding value to yourself, which leads me into tip number 10 to succeed in corporate America is learning when to leave a job or an organization. So you've put in all of this work, you've become someone that has a great reputation within the organization. You've continued to learn and you've added new skills to your toolbox. Now is the time for you to go into that manager's office or that director's office or that vice president's office and you ask for that new role that's going to double your salary. You're ready for that new role. And sometimes they won't give that to you, and that's fine, because that gives you the fuel that you need to go out on the open market and start to search for those roles that you know that you're qualified for. And don't be afraid to take that jump and leave that organization, because a lot of times that's what you actually have to do in corporate America. And that's one thing that I've learned is that around that 5-year mark, if you're not seeing some substantial growth within your organization that you're working in, it's time to leave. It's time to leave, because that's how you actually continue to climb that ladder. So a lot of times when we see people coming into our organization and they're at the director level or they're at the vice president level, a lot of times those people are taking those higher roles at our organizations. right? They may have been a manager at their current job, right? They come to our organization and now they're a director. And that's just how this works. So don't be afraid to take that leap of faith, leave that organization after 3 to 5 years where you're putting in that work, your reputation is solid, you know your worth, and you know that you can handle the next level, right? So don't be afraid to know when to leave an organization or a job. So those are 10 tips that I truly believe that if you're able to implement, that you will be successful in corporate America. Now, a lot of these things I had to learn along the way over my 20 plus years of being in corporate America. And if you're able to implement these, I have no doubt that you'll kill it in corporate America. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.